Hey everybody, I'm War Ascended,
I'm Blackwind.
I'm Burns.
and welcome to the COGCast. Today, well,
Okay.
I'll just be frank with
Oh
you
no!
guys. Blackwind is losing her shit, and we are a little beat down after the 4th of July holiday that turned into a week-long celebration. Frankly, I'm still a little hungover. It's a little bit of a relaxed podcast today. We're gonna, take it easy, sit back, enjoy the view, enjoy the sun, and have a good time. How was your guys' 4th?
It
Mine
was
went well.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mostly laughing at the dog, cowering on the table because he was afraid of the fireworks.
Mhm.
I had some similar experiences with my cats. So yeah, I understand your sentiment.
Had like a little barbecue, just sat back and watched a bunch of fireworks from my yard, and it was pretty awesome.
Well, that's good. I'm glad everyone had some fun. But I do got some stuff I want to talk about. I had a chance to take a trip down memory lane not too long ago. Over the holiday, I was able to crack open an OG Xbox and play a little Brute Force. I don't know if any of you guys remember about that game. I believe I talked about it on a podcast, but that might not be one we've released or not. So if it isn't or it is, yeah, that's an awesome game that I used to really love and should be remade. It's a first-person shooter. It came out around the same time as Halo, and I got to smash some of that this past week, and I had so much fun. It was like walking down my childhood. But man, those old Xbox controllers, the first iteration controllers, they serve better as a weapon than a gaming device. They're just, it's,
Agreed.
oh my god. I mean, like, you have to have mammoth Russell Wilson sized hands to have those things fucking fit comfortably. I don't understand how I did it as a small child whose hands hadn't even slightly developed. Do you guys have
Ugh.
any controllers that you hate or appreciate more than the other? Because I got to tell you, playing on that OG Xbox made me relive my worst controller nightmares.
Right.
Yeah, my god. I still have my original Xbox somewhere. I haven't played on it in years because, like I said, I was late to the gaming scene. But yeah, the newer controller design is definitely better than the Smasher Brain in OG one.
I always preferred like Super Nintendo controllers, or uh, I like the Xbox One controller. It's probably the most comfortable gaming controller I've ever held. So they've at least gotten better since their original controller. That thing was impossible. So
Well, dude, just think about like the
Yep.
N64 controller. You literally can't be holding all of it at once. I mean, I don't
Right?
understand how people thought that that was a good idea. It's like you have to switch up your grip, and all of a sudden you try and use your left hand. That was just a huge mistake. And then I think that controller is the reason that they invented nunchucks, because they're just like, all right, let's make it simple.
I think
Gosh,
it's
I remember the N64. My
fascinating.
friend had one. We would smash out Super Smash Bros. For hours.
Yes.
But you're right. It was the weirdest fucking controller. One of the weirdest.
But it made
I think
sense
it's
at the
fascinating
time.
that
I
Nintendo
guess.
had Nintendo has always had like weird gaming uh like controller adapters or things. Like they had the blaster, the gun from normal Nintendo. They had the Power Glove, which has got to be the most awkward controller of all time. Um various other things. So some of that, like the 64 controller, just wasn't really a surprise to me. It was expected kind of from Nintendo.
I mean, despite that boomerang of a controller, though, that was the first controller that gave us a trigger, correct?
Right, I think so, yeah.
Maybe? I
Yeah,
don't know
I
what
think it
year the
was.
N64 came out.
I could be wrong. I missed the Super Nintendo era, and PlayStation. It wasn't triggers. They had the pads or the bumpers or what have you. I believe. I haven't played a PlayStation in a long time.
Something like that. I honestly don't like PlayStation controllers. That's why I don't have a PlayStation. Well, one of the
I did for
reasons, I
fighting
guess.
games. I liked them for fighting games back in the day, but now I've adjusted to other controls. So
I've always felt like I could
Hmm.
snap a PlayStation controller like a twig. I don't know if PS3 or PS4 controllers feel the same way, but PS2 and PS1 controllers, I've always felt like you could just like in Overwatch, if I were to get killed in some shitty way, I would squeeze the controller too hard and the buttons would just pop out.
see, I
Just
feel like I
snap
could
like a
shatter
twig
an
from War's
Xbox One
Rage.
controller. I feel like I could snap one in half, but I've never really tried. I just know that doesn't feel like it could hold up.
See, I
You
like
have a
the
problem.
Xbox
You
One
press your
controller.
bumpers so hard that they break. On how many controllers has this happened now, Burns?
I go through controllers often throughout the year. I'm definitely hard on controllers. They don't last
So
too
you
It's the right bumper, right? That's the one that
like
you
just be
take a vengeance
gentler
on.
with it, cause
long. On this one, yeah.
like my brother's the same way. He goes through like 5 controllers every year. Meanwhile, I've only ever slightly broken one. Like it still works. I still play with it. The trigger's just a little funky. It's like, how do you break controllers that many in a single year?
I think I
Stop
go through
fucking
about
shit
3.
up.
Me and Burns have a mutual friend who has how many controllers and TVs has he broken, and just related Xbox equipment has he broken when he raged?
Are
You
you
know what I'm
talking about the
talking
one I
about.
think
It's
you're talking
ri-
about?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
okay.
A
And
lot.
headsets, like
Yeah.
kid gotta get a new headset every 2 weeks because he threw it against the wall.
Oh, dude, I've seen him wing it. We're not talking about T-Fame, if that's who you think we're talking about. We are talking.
No, I'm thinking
Okay,
about
yeah,
someone else.
yeah. Then you're probably right.
Yeah,
No,
no
dude,
name drops. But yeah, we are
I've
definitely.
seen him wing a fucking controller on a flat screen TV before, break the controller and the TV, and just be like, "Damn, now we have to
Jesus.
go buy a new one." And then he just went and bought a new one.
Like, what's
Right.
the point? You're just wasting money. Like, stop breaking shit.
I mean,
You want to punch
he's
something, like
always had
scream into a
money. He
pillow.
makes money, but still, I agree that's excessive.
Right.
Um,
I've seen him. I've seen like I think it's the same person or a couple of my other friends. I've seen a couple people pick up their Xboxes and just like power slam them and stuff. They still ran
Why?
afterwards, surprisingly. Rage.
It's not your Xbox's fault. It's either you're fucking up or someone's trolling you or something.
You can
Like,
Or
maybe
the
don't
blame your
rely on your
developers
internet.
hardware.
bad.
Blame your internet, maybe.
That too. Mm-hmm.
I love blaming
Just
my
say someone's
internet for
hacking and scream
anything.
and just go outside and scream at the sky for a couple minutes instead of breaking shit and then having to pay several $100s to fix it or get a new one.
Right.
You see, I think teleportation would have been invented by now were it not for the internet and gaming culture. Because if people could just teleport to somebody's house who just fucking camped in a corner, people would be getting killed every day. There would be people would just be
I mean, they're
breaking
already
heads.
getting killed every day.
I
Oh,
wanted to.
God.
I've imagined reaching through the TV before and like ring status coming out on their side and being like, "Oh yeah, what up now, bitch?" Dude, I've imagined.
Right, Tron yourself through Xbox and strangle someone.
I've seen it. I've seen it
Ugh.
happen.
Verbally punch them through the mic.
The rage is so real.
It really is. I mean, I've never gotten mad enough to where I've actually gone and broken something before intentionally. I mean, I actually have had the same issue Burns has had where my bumper's falling out as well, so I know that pain.
Raged at cell phones more than I've like broken video game devices out of rage. So
See, I've managed to never break anything out of rage, but there has been rage where it's been 3 in the morning and someone's pounding up the stairs telling me to shut the hell up because I'm screaming bloody fucking hell.
Oh, I've had that.
Don't you be chewing on that.
Yeah, it gets really scary when I'm playing late at night and I apparently get too loud and all of a sudden my fiance comes out of nowhere, can't hear her, she's like a fucking ninja, and just rips my headphones off. It's terrifying. Oh god.
No, funny short story. Video game rage is actually how my family found out I cursed like a sailor. Because for years they had no idea, and then suddenly, just from the heavens, hear Blackwind screaming, "Fucking cunt!" So yeah, that's how that happened.
That must have been quite the revelation for the quiet southern girl and the family that thought they had raised her.
Like, my cursing was so bad for so many years, they had no idea until I picked up video gaming, and then within just a couple of months, oh, nope, secret's out.
Well, we are knee deep in the topic of gaming right now, and I just picked up a new game that I think is a lot of fucking fun. I don't believe Blackman has had the opportunity to play it, nor has Burns, but Burns has spent a good hour or so watching my Twitch stream of the game, reliving horror movies. I just picked up Friday the 13th, and I gotta tell you, it is an interesting game. Um, it's
So,
yeah, Burns. Well, okay. Since you haven't played it, I would like to hear your kind of perspective of it, just from me watching it and like living it. I want to live through your shoes a little bit.
so first of all, I have to say that with the video game, I can tell that I personally probably wouldn't enjoy playing it just because I'm very, very, very picky about little things in video games. And little things can set me off pretty easy and just not make me like the game. However, there have been a few games recently that I've given a chance to not play but watch. And this one was really entertaining to watch. It was very. You have to think in the terms of being in like a horror film, and if you think of um, the laws or the universe of horror films, then it should. You're fine. And then it should make sense to you when you're watching it, because it's Friday the 13th, and you're playing as either Jason, or you're playing as like camp counselors who are notorious for being killed by Jason. So if you're playing as Jason, you're hunting them down. If you're playing as the counselors, you're hiding, and you do a bunch of hiding and running and gathering random things from around the camp to try to escape. And if you last a certain amount of time, or if you can maybe use a vehicle or something and get out of there, you can survive. But Jason, it seems like he ramps up as the game goes on, and it's actually like it's I don't know. I actually put on some like dubstep and was just watching you play, and the mix of like the electronic, like happier music, and then the bloody horror stuff was pretty fantastic.
I was recreating scenes like that could have been straight in the movie. I mean, I you have to like he says, there's objectives that you have to do to escape, and they all tie into things that have taken place within the Friday the 13th universe. Specifically, the second one. That's the one that it's really, I would say inspired by. You can kill Jason with a combinate by doing a combination of certain things that include going into his mom's hut and getting his sweater, like with what happens in the second one. And then it also you have to use Tommy Jarvis in some way, shape, or form. I don't know exactly how you kill Jason because I've never done it. And then you can also repair a boat and escape, but and a car and escape. But he can. Jason has abilities. He has those natural horror abilities that kind of go unspoken. He can teleport at random, so it has a cooldown obviously, but he can teleport anywhere he wants to on the map. He can go into like this invisible wraith form where he just disappears, and he continuously blitzes forward until he runs out of the ability, and then he just pops up behind somebody, and you can just grab him and murder him. He also can sense the counselors. There's a really unique aspect to the game where there's a life game. The counselors have to take into account three different stats in order for them to function and behave appropriately. Their life obviously determines how well that they run and they survive and interact with things in the game. Their stamina determines how fast they sprint, how long they sprint, that sort of thing. How hard they can hit Jason back, and they can stun in Jason. And the final thing is they have to take account of their fear. The more scary things that happen to him, if you're in a house and Jason takes out the lights, if you see Jason, if you stumble upon a dead body, if you're in the dark too long while this is going on, your character becomes afraid and starts to become really, really loud and stumble around a lot. And Jason, you become like just easy pickings for Jason. So there's just a lot of really interesting dynamics that all really play into like the lore of the universe. You can also call the cops to escape. Like I said, you call Tommy Jarvis, or you can just wait out the time. There's a 20-minute timer where you can just try and hide the whole time, but good luck doing that. And it's really loyal to a lot of the different. Like it has a bunch of different iterations of Jason that have a bunch of different executions, and his executions are all movie executions, ranging from the second one to the first one. It's just a really fun game, man. I recommend everyone out there, if you have the opportunity to give it a shot, give it a shot. It's not a the thing about it is it's not a AAA game, so it's only $40. But it's worth it in my opinion, for a different game. This is like it's like Evolve done right, in my opinion. That's the best way I can describe it.
So, like I was saying, I kind of wish a bigger gaming company would purchase this game, fix it up just a little bit, re-release it with better servers and better matchmaking. And there you go. And this game would be a AAA title. It would sell. A lot of people would play this game. I think it's uh, there's just something about the horror survival kind of genre, and then the way they like theme it perfectly to a horror film, and it is perfectly done like that. There's something there, and we don't have. I don't think there's really too many games out there that there are probably more for PC that I'm unaware of, but that exploit this and bring this flavor of gaming to the table. So
Bachman, do you have any desire to play this game? Have you heard of it? Seen any gameplay? What are your thoughts, opinions,
Yeah, I've
concerns,
heard of it.
criticisms,
I've
critiques?
seen some gameplay. It looks, like a horror movie. It's kind of funny to watch. Would I play it? Maybe not. It's not quite my kind of game.
You are a
But for
horror
those who
person
like that
gamer,
kind of
though.
stuff, moviegoer, not really horror gamer. Like the
Alien
only horror
Isolation.
game I've played, it's the only one I played though.
How much of you did you love
And
it?
and I only played it because it was Alien, and I fucking love Alien.
Yeah, I can dig
So
that game
I
as
don't
well
know what
too.
to tell you. Oh, it's so I love it so much. I just
Yeah,
love
the
Alien.
thing about Friday the
Alien is my
13th,
thing.
Alien's great. There's definitely, yeah, it's fantastic, and the new movie is interesting, and I'd love to talk about it if a certain someone would go and see it. Um, but yeah, Friday the 13th is just it's a very interesting game, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more games like this in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Freddy version of this game or something, or a Michael Myers version of this game, or even like a
please,
Predator. Like
no.
something like, yeah, Predator would be cool in
They
the
just need
jungle,
to,
dude, or like, oh man, that would be cool.
dude. Imagine this, like a larger play space that connects three different like Clive Barker or like that style of older horror films. So you take like on the scene, you've got like Freddy, so you need like an Elm Street or some type of scene from one of a few different maps from like those things. But then they connect to something like you walk across the border, you're suddenly in like Jason's territory, But you could like have all three villains roaming the map, and then you do like Hellraiser. So you have like Pinhead, Jason, and Freddy, like chasing down all these different people on this large ass map. So you take like servers like those, those games that can have like 30 people
Yeah,
in the game
yeah.
with you at once. So you take servers like that, and then you build with like maybe some type of an engine or something that like that game is built on, something like that, and then enhance it so you can have three like
I'll
different
one up
worlds
you.
that
The south,
interconnect.
no, there's a fourth world down to the south that no one knows about. You have to take a boat to get there. When you get there, it's all snow.
Oh
It's
yeah,
fucking it. That would be
there you
awesome.
go.
The
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like getting licensed to all the properties. I know Clive Barker has like the monopoly in that because of Freddy and
An MMO horror extended universe. I'm on board.
Pinhead.
I'm game.
Yeah, an MMO horror world that's kind of like an extended thing, like one of the game types or something that's just like where people go in and it randomly chooses people to play as the villains, and it's a huge expansive world where people can like get around, but each different villain has their own different specific abilities. Like that would be fun, dude. I would play the hell out of that.
Hell yeah. Well,
Like the expansion packs for like Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
oh, dude, that would be awesome. You could add in a bunch of different stuff, like Jeepers Creepers too. Like hey, oh
Yeah.
god, dude, that'd be so sick.
oh, that was those movies were creepy.
Dude, the second one, the first one is awesome. The second,
hmm
The second
I
one
mean, the
is
second one wasn't
pure
bad,
comedy,
I don't
but
think.
like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I still like the second one. Did they make a third one?
They're making
Or
it.
am I crazy?
No, they're making it.
Ah, okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, that would be very cool. I totally support that.
Um,
And the Friday the 13th game is improving, but its biggest issue is right now it's the servers are messed up and they need to get better. I mean, there's no way around that right now. The servers are really, really bad.
Right.
mm-hmm.
So hopefully that will happen sometime in the near future. I just got the game, and I know there's some Miller has had the game longer than I have, and he said that the servers have improved. So
Yeah, I did
clearly they're
notice Miller
addressing it.
playing it a lot.
Yeah, he talked me into buying it. They are having, well, unfortunately, it just ended, but they were having an amazing July sale on.
Mm-hmm.
They had like 50% off every game. I
Yeah, there are a lot of games.
Yeah, well, it's over now, but I purchased 3 games during The sale, I purchased Friday the 13th. I also repurchased Gears of War 4 because I really love the game, but when I buy games on disc copy, I have a tendency to discard them. Not discard them, just once I beat it, just to sell it back to GameStop for cash. So I bought that and downloaded that, and then I also bought Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens, and it is so good. I don't even know what to do with myself. I hate how much I love those games, but at the same time, it's like, no, these games are awesome. And I'm having a kid soon, so it's like I'm just stocking up for my kid. That's why I have these games. Don't judge me. That's my excuse. I don't know what yours is, Blackwood, because I know you play them too, but that's what I stick with.
Well, the one I was playing, the Complete Saga, it was a game for gold like last month. So I was like, fuck it, might as well download it. It's free.
So good.
And then I got to playing it, and you're right. They are like it's a simple game. It's not like complicated or any of that. But it is fun in its own way, and it's Star Wars, and Star Wars is awesome. And I'm really enjoying it. They got like all the characters and these little challenges you can do. You're just blowing stuff up, and falling off cliffs, and platforming, which apparently I'm terrible at. I am really bad at the platforming part.
Yeah, I played the
But
complete
yeah, it's fun.
saga as well, and I really really liked it. Another good one is the Lord of the Rings one. It's a lot of fun. It's more open world actually, if that makes sense. It's more sandboxy. It's really really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also played the Jurassic. I don't know if it's Jurassic Park, but it has all of them in it, including Jurassic World, and that one's a little bit more sandboxy as well, and a lot of fun too. And then my brother actually has the Marvel one, and I played a little bit of that one. And I didn't really care for that one too much, but the other games that I played are really really fun. And the next one that I want to get is the Harry Potter one because I hear that those are really good too.
Mm-hmm.
So switching off of shitty Marvel games, let's switch to amazing MCU movies. Spider-Man: Homecoming just came out, and I had the opportunity to see it, and holy shit, it was phenomenal. It exceeded all of my expectations. Burns, we've talked about this a little bit before. Uh, how did you feel about it?
Yeah, I think we may have spoken a couple times before about this. I was excited to see the film, and I'm excited after. I will not mention any spoilers for anybody, but I will compare a few things from the way this film was made into the way previous Spider-Man films were made. I just want to state, first of all, it was amazing. Like this film and another
For the
film, which we'll
record,
probably talk about here in a little bit. Yeah, very good, very good. Everyone should go see this. We've been waiting for a good Spider-Man film for a while. But what I want to my critique of it is positive, but it's one in the way of pacing. The previous Spider-Man films are notorious for taking two villains and taking one as the first half of the film and kind of one as the second half, and it's supposed to lead up. And it's I don't know, it didn't really work for me.
and then there's Rhino.
Well, the fact that they did it 10 times, not literally, but there's so many Spider-Man films, and even
I
with
agree.
the one before, this Spider-Man iteration.
The Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That they did it again there with multiple villains, and it just didn't work with me. But this one worked really well because it's a Marvel film, and they did the Marvel thing where they write everything the way they want it to be, like because it's got to fit into this universe. So it's like there's a way of making Peter Parker feel like he's more than just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and like where he's an Avenger, he can be more than just the street level superhero, but at the same time, he's the happy place between being able to be up there with the big guys, to quote Tony Stark. Like this is Endgame. He can participate in that, but he can still save a cat. That's stuck up in a tree. It's like something about the film just had a layer of magic to
He
it
is just
that
perfectly fine being rewarded with churros.
yes.
It really is.
See,
It lives
I
up
haven't.
to every. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Blackman, but it does.
No,
It
it's fine.
it feels. It's so great. It's everything that you've wanted to see. You had a good Peter Parker in Tobey Maguire, and you had a good Spider-Man in Andrew Garfield. You have them both in Tom Holland, and he, I hope, stays in the MCU because I know they're running with the Miles Morales version in the comic book universe, and I really hope they keep this iteration of Peter Parker around for a couple years, at least another one, at least another one.
See, I'm the one here that hasn't seen it though. Like I've heard amazing things about it from practically everyone. Like I've watched like non-spoilery reviews on a couple of the channels I follow, and they're all just gagging over it. Now hearing you two gagging over it, and it's one of the movies I need to see. I'm a bit behind on my movies, as War will tell you.
Alien.
But yeah, it looks amazing. Like it looks like, because like you said, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, they weren't bad, but this one looks like it's going to be like the Spider-Man with I've already forgotten his bloody name. Who is it?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Gosh.
The Brits
He's
are
very
coming.
talented. Very talented. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
He's very talented.
he
He's
studied acrobats from a very young age. Actually he got the audition by like flipping into the camera and then delivering the line he was supposed to deliver. That like got him the audition.
Seriously?
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
awesome.
Yeah, seriously. That's how he got the not
That's
the part, but the like. Okay, this guy could actually be Spider-Man audition kind of thing.
okay. Well, I'm just like pointing out the fact that also like he slid in, kind of stole everyone's heart. Like the first, I'm just gonna say like first time I saw like a picture of him, I was skeptical. I was like, is he gonna play Spider-Man? What? And then like a little while into it, like I think I saw like an interview with him, and I was totally sold. And then I saw him do the flip, and I was like, "Yep, there we go. Let's do this. It's on." And then like Marvel's really good with advertising and teasing and things like that. They started dropping little trailers and like appearances and stuff, and I followed some of that stuff online, and it got me hooked. I was in. So I've been waiting to see this film, and they got me super hyped up for it the whole way. Now I'm here after the film, and I'm ready to go see it again.
Me too. I just exited a couple hours ago. I would go pay money again to see it right now. I would. And for a Marvel
yeah,
film, like,
Marvel's just
go ahead, go ahead.
I'm it's finally like one that Marvel's done, and just if you just think about it, Marvel's gotten their formula down so packed, like they know what they're doing. Look at Guardians 2. Freaking amazing. Now that Marvel actually did their Spider-Man, like of course it's going to be awesome. They know what they're doing by now. They've got it down to an art and a science. You know?
Yeah, they do.
Agreed.
It's so good. Um, I don't know where the I really there's so many things that I want to say about it, but I can't I can't spoil it. But for a Marvel movie, the one thing I will say, and I had heard this out there, I had heard rumors of it, but I'm normally pretty good at catching it. There's a twist towards the end of the movie that I didn't suspect. I don't know if Burns, if you did, if I mean, there were some subtle references that make sense and lock into place after you realize it, but it was over my head.
All I'm going to say about this war is when we're done here today, me and you are going to be in a party. We have to talk.
Yes or no? Over your head. You caught it? You caught it? Because I got to admit that I don't miss much. That one slid by me, and I was like, damn.
If it's what I'm thinking, I caught it. So
I hate you.
I know.
It's very, dude, it's, yeah. I'm telling you, go ahead, try and find it. Unless you're a naturally talented, like, just, like, you're not going to spot it. It's a really well done twist. And,
All
really
I'm
good.
saying is everybody needs to go see this film like as soon as possible. There's I can name 3 films right now that are currently out that I think everybody should go see. If they haven't seen them, they're doing themselves an injustice. Um,
Oh,
which
I
is
see what you did there. I see what you
Oh
did
my
there.
god.
um,
Was that a little conversation shift right there? Little segue? Is that what we're doing?
maybe, maybe. Anyways, the
Uh,
3 films are Alien. Somewhat everyone should go see Alien. Everyone should go see Wonder Woman. Absolutely should go see Wonder Woman. And everybody on this planet needs to go see Spider-Man right now.
my question to you, sir: did you like Wonder Woman better than Spider-Man? And I will tell you right now, I did. I thought Wonder Woman was better than Spider-Man. LLR6.
So that's kind of a hard question for me because both Spider-Man and Wonder Woman were so amazing. So you have Spider-Man, which is like the Spider-Man film that we've all been waiting for, and it's total like just amazing, very very good. And then you have this out of left field or whatever, like this Wonder Woman film swoop in and is like a whole new level of badass for DC films. That's the way I felt about it. Um, Again, I don't want to give away spoilers for Wonder Woman for anybody who hasn't seen it, but I think everyone should go see that film. It has a lot of historical notation and it should like ring true to a lot of people who understand what's going on in the film and what time place it's set in. Um, it's like gonna like really pull at a lot of the DC fans and comic book fans. Plus, it's gonna pull in a lot of females because you have a main female super hero lead,
It was
and
also
she's
directed by a
amazing.
female.
Yep, yep, directed, and uh, yeah, it's a beautiful film. It's really hard for me to choose which one I would have to say is better, um, due to the fact that I would give them both the exact same score. Different reasons to watch them, definitely, definitely that. But I would give them both the same score. Like if there was a scale, like they are equally badass and need to be like looked at.
I
I think.
I would not. I would give them. I'm giving Wonder Woman a 10. I'm giving Homecoming a 9.5. Um, there were some parts in Spider-Man that I felt were a little anticlimactic, and
Hmm.
from the start of Wonder Woman, you know that the finale, whatever it's going to be, is going to be epic, and it delivers on every single level. Whereas Spider-Man, though it has a good ending and everything, I love everything about it. I just look. I have a problem with J.J. Abrams. He's my favorite director, but his finales, his climaxes in his movies are not that good. Aside from The Force Awakens, they kind of fizzle out in all the Star Trek movies. Super 80 talks to the monster thing and he leaves. Like Mission Impossible 3, they roll into a street, he gets hit by a bus. So I love a good boss fight. There's no other way to say it.
Right.
And I feel like Wonder Woman delivers so fucking amazingly hardcore in that category. As far as it being, well, you said like it's a timepiece for sure, but it's relevant for today. I mean, there are
Right.
her ideologically here, her ideological. I'm just gonna give up on that word. Her thoughts go in complete contradiction to society, and it's a reflection, it's a commentary on what's going on today as well. It's a really complex film, and you're just doing an injustice to see it. To not see it, you really need to.
Yep.
War.
I'm
War.
not gonna say that word. Don't make me say it.
Ideology.
Thank you.
I
But
was
I'm
gonna
not
do
gonna
it
say
Say
too,
that
it.
but
word.
I let her do it.
Ideology.
Ideology. I can do this.
There you go.
There you go.
I'm qualified to be on air.
Yes.
Just so you know, I have a degree in on airness. And
On airness.
Oh, really?
yeah, it took me all of like the time to download OBS to get it. It was
Yeah.
Oh my god.
it was a rigorous,
As
rigorous process.
as
But
Integrity listens to this, he's laughing.
I know, hopefully. But seriously, back on track. Back to using words we know and understand. Wonder Woman is amazing. You need to see it. Like
Yeah.
Brent said, he listed off 3 movies that you do need to see. And I feel like we kind of have to talk about the Justice League and what's coming up with that right now. And it's going through some big changes. Zack Snyder is no longer the director. Joss Whedon is. Can you say sellouts or copiers? Like, Jesus Christ, DCU.
Nope. I say savior.
Yeah,
I say
you're not
savior.
wrong.
Joss Whedon is and has been one of my favorite writers for the longest time. He is the creator of my favorite series, Firefly. I will reference many a time. He worked on the Avengers. He directed the Avengers. Wrote, I'm pretty sure, the Avengers.
No,
He's
really?
been like recreating and bringing his nerd fandom like obsession with the comic book universes to the
And
big
let's just
screen
stop for a
and
moment
to us.
here. And I know this is a little bit of an ill of a segue, but Cabin in the Woods is fucking awesome, and he wrote that movie. Go see it if you haven't. Back to the Avengers, bro.
Yep. Oh yeah, the the work that he's bringing to comic books right now is amazing. So I'm really excited to see him play both fields. Why not? They don't own Marvel doesn't own Joss Whedon. You know what I mean? They just
They
allowed him
probably
to work
wish
on
they
their
fucking
projects.
did at this point in time. They're probably like, fuck, we made a mistake.
Well, I mean, to be honest, like they're like yin and yang, the Marvel and the DC universe. I couldn't imagine having one without the other. Especially now,
A
how
lot of
well
people
both.
feel differently, Burns. A lot of people,
Well,
the MCU is Blackwind. I think you might have a slight bias towards the MCU than you do the DCU. Is this correct? Am I saying that?
Yeah, pretty much.
The
I gotta
DCU
drop.
needs right now. It does need Joss Whedon. I'll say that. I think Zack Snyder set it up relatively well. I think he cast them relatively well. It's up to Joss Whedon to bring it home, and I think he can do that.
I could probably uh, speak in volumes about the DC and Marvel universes. Um, there's a common ground for me. Well, it's like a compromise. I really, really, really like Dark Horse, um, and Vertigo, and a few other comic publishers. I would really like to see more of these other comic book companies step up and start making more movies. I know that they were working on a Sandman movie from Neil Gaiman and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it's
so
ever going to
good.
come out, but it would be really nice to see. And the Sandman is probably my favorite comic of all time. But about like the whole Marvel and DC thing, for me, I can't pick sides. I love me some Batman, and I get the feels over some old school, really traditional fucking Superman. And as far as the rest of the DC universe, I knew of them as a kid, and I like read some of their comics, but it wasn't until like teenage and a little bit older, more adult years that I really delved into them. And at the same time, I grew up on the X-Men, I grew up on Avengers, I grew up on the Marvel universe. It's like I get to enjoy both worlds, and I think most people should. Like, I can't pick between one or the other, but for me, it's like if you also look at their television, DC and Marvel, both alike, are just doing great things in both realms on TV and on the big screen. And I'm hoping that the Justice League will concrete this. Like, Wonder Woman has definitely, I think, raised the bar for them. And I'm hoping that Justice League will concrete where they're going with that and really bring bring DC back up into the films. That being said, like, with the Ben Affleck director thing kind of going on with the Batman thing. I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but
Yeah, that's
I'm
a little
excited.
disconcerting though. But I
It's
mean, maybe he wants to just be able to focus on the role more. He's a great Batman,
right.
so
Oh yeah,
I want to see him as Batman. And if he needs to step down from his duties, which I think is a damn shame because he's a phenomenal director. He's directed some of my favorite movies. The Town and Argo are just amazing. And I would love to. I don't know how much he's written in the past, except for I know he wrote Good Will Hunting. Obviously, he co-wrote that. But I would like to see another screenplay by him. But word on the street is Matt Reeves, who is kind of the guy who's been helming the Planet of the Apes series. He also did Cloverfield. He did another vampire horror movie that I can't remember. It's like Don't Let Me In or something like that. It has Chloe Grace Moretz in it. It was
Let
really
the
I
right
good.
one
love
in.
that.
It's Don't Let Me In. No, I think it's Don't Let Me In, right?
But there's two titles because there's a foreign version and then there's the American release, and they have similar but two different titles. And you're right.
Hmm.
Okay, yes, he did that movie, and he's a really good up and coming director. So I'm excited to see him take on the movie. But unfortunately, it looks like he's saying, Ben Affleck, your script, nah, which is a little disheartening. I wanted to see it, but I trust the dude as a director. And obviously, the studio and even Ben Affleck does if he was willing to relinquish his power and have it, bequeathed upon this dude.
I agree that I'm hoping that this just gives him more energy for his role as Batman. I would still be excited to see him direct something comic book related here in the near future.
Yeah, me too. What I do have a little hard time believing though is the fact that I can't I can't say this with 100% certainty, but I was pretty for sure that I heard that Suicide Squad 2 is getting a sequel. And I just don't understand how that is possible. That movie's an absolute train wreck. I saw it in 3D and in theaters, and I thought it was okay. And then I went and stupidly bought the thing on Blu-ray, and I couldn't even. I have not been able to sit through that movie since. It just is a train wreck. I cannot believe it got a sequel. And if it actually is true, the only reason it is because of Margot Robbie and Will Smith. And maybe, I mean, some people do have an affinity towards Jared Leto's Joker, and I think there were some parts where he was okay, but he was completely underutilized. You guys have both seen this movie. Did you guys like this movie? Am I wrong to think that it's a little crazy that
Yeah,
it's
I've
getting a
seen
sequel?
it. I mean, I've seen it once. I think the only one I've seen was like the extended edition or something because it was fucking long. Not like the worst like superhero actiony movie I've ever seen, but there were still like a lot of parts I'm going like, what the fuck is happening? Or the pacing was off and it was just real wonky. And I don't know, like, okay, I've seen it. What I want, am I like excited for a sequel? Is that something I'm jumping up and down for? No. Like maybe the second one will be better. I don't know. The first one, again, definitely not the worst superhero movie I've seen. Not the worst DC movie even, in my opinion anyway. But it is what it is. Okay, that was interesting.
For
I'm gonna go watch something
see,
else.
for me, and I've had kind of a flip-floppy opinion about this. There are parts of the movie that are just awful. I can't blame. I don't know. I wouldn't even know who to blame. I mean, I'm not in the industry. That's just how it is. I liked the movie overall. I did not like the villain. Didn't like the ending. Um, kind of like the beginning, but I felt like it took too long to just like put everything together. I
Yeah,
feel
they
like you could
spent like the
re-edit this
first
movie. Uh huh.
they spent like the first half hour introducing characters. Like if you're 30 minutes into the movie, you're still introducing people. A, you have two characters, or B, too many characters, or B, you're doing it wrong.
I feel like they could
My
re-edit
biggest
this
gripe with
movie.
the movie is that they had one or two too committee members. You had one dude who you get introduced to and gets offed in the first 15 seconds because he tries to fucking like kangaroo his way up a wall.
The only one that didn't have a
Stupid.
fancy intro is the throwaway one that they used to demonstrate the fucking imploding head thing.
Even then,
Like, that
that's
was all
screen
he did.
time that should have been fucking spent elsewhere. You know, oh hey, let's just erase this character and give some more screen time to the Joker. In my opinion, it's a disservice to Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker in Suicide Squad. I'm not saying it's
Okay.
Jared Leto's fault, but they either should have given a Joker an opportunity to shine, or left him the fuck alone, because he was
Yeah.
there
Okay.
just to be there.
Like, there was so much hype leading up, like Jared Leto, the Joker. Like, you're reading stories about the kind of crazy shit he was doing, and then he's in the movie for a grand total of 5 minutes, if that.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. So again, let me finish what I was saying. I think
Sorry.
they could re-edit this film and cut the Enchantress out and maybe add like 15 more minutes of Jared Leto and do an action sequence somewhere to replace the awful bad guy, and you would have a very good film. A little campy here and there, but it would be fine. And you use Jared Leto as like an introduction to a villain for the second one, or just as like a bigger introduction piece of his character, like he like hinting that he's going to be a much larger part of the next films.
What if they had just done something like a fucking Jailbreak movie, and they formed the Suicide Squad because they have to, and they have fucking
That
Amanda Waller? She's the villain. You know, like
that
it was so, they wanted to make an Avengers movie before they could, so bad that they just shat out the Suicide Squad.
So the other thing is with Jared Leto's Joker, I was vomiting over it the first time I saw it. But then I saw what you're saying. There are parts in it. There's things in it that is really good. And I think with time and with development on those aspects of what he brought with the character, we could get a new Joker. He's got a great look for it. Maybe not the whole Hot Topic thing that kind of just seems to throw it off for me, but his physique, he's tall, he's lanky, his face structure, he could definitely pull this off if he reined that in just a little bit. And I've seen the deleted scenes, and I'm actually pissed that they were deleted because they were like all his scenes. They're all his scenes, and that's what like. What the fuck? I wanted to see this. And then the other whole aspect I have to agree with you on was, for me, the whole bringing the Joker out after Heath Ledger's performance was just too soon. So it was marketing for me. So to me, it fell flat. I liked the
Heath
film.
Ledger was just an amazing Joker. Like, let's be
He was
honest.
amazing.
Heath Ledger killed it.
It was amazing.
Never.
We can talk volumes about this, I'm sure, because we all feel very strongly about it. He was amazing. But this seemed like it was a marketing thing, and it fell flat. But overall, I enjoyed the film because I can watch it and I can ignore Enchantress. She ruined the film for me.
She was
I didn't
terrible.
even understand her whole deal or what her thing she was building was like, and that was one of the parts I was like, what the hell is going on? What is this?
It was a Ghostbusters 2, flop. Like, that's the way that character, she's like a really bad, overdone graphics, a weird twist that
all
you
CGI.
Saw coming from the beginning of the film, basically. A bunch of senseless, overpowered bullshit that made no sense, and they just tried to sell the goth crowd on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I still don't even understand what the rock monsters that they fought were. Like, what?
Like the infected guys or something?
Yeah, what the
or
fuck
possessed or mutated? I don't know.
No, they were made of rock. I'm pretty sure when they're punching them and shit, rocks are flying off them, and it's like, oh, okay.
I thought they were like bubbling or something, like goo.
Yeah, dude, it's like something straight out of Power Rangers.
I don't fucking know.
So yeah, I can't rate that high in their film successes, but if they're going for a sequel, I'm hoping they take some advice on that and they think that out a little bit more and they give it time to really develop. Stop trying. They don't need to make it like a Guardian. Like like look at Guardians of the Galaxy, and then compare the first Guardians of the Galaxy film to the Suicide Squad. But all the way you have to go all the way back. Compare them from from day one advertisement, and then until like a week after reviews, and then look at both films side by side, and look at how they tried to advertise Suicide Squad musically, colorfully, hippy dippy kind of like stuff, and it just like didn't really sell out in the movie.
See,
And
the
then you go
thing is
watch
I actually
Guardians of the
had
Galaxy.
no interest in Guardians and ended up loving it. And then when I saw the trailer for
Oh, it was
Suicide
amazing.
Squad, I was like, oh my god, this looks like it's going to be amazing. I think they're going to do a really good job because you're right. I didn't realize that they were like subtly making Guardians of the Galaxy just with bad guys. I mean, Guardians of the
Mm-hmm.
Galaxy, they're not exactly good guys, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Guardians was like, I don't think Marvel expected Guardians to be the breakout hit that it was, but it was great.
And
So
Guardians 2, like, we've had this discussion, I think, on air before, but the more time I put in distance and I rewatch it again, it grows on me every single time I see that film.
Mm-hmm.
oh, it's so good. Yeah, we did. I think we spent like half an hour on one of our earlier podcasts
I
talking about
just have an
Guardians too.
issue with the fact that that movie has a beginning, a middle, and then it ends. There's no an end, it just ends. That's my
Yeah.
issue.
Yep. um.
It is
Yeah.
so good.
Well,
Though.
since we're
It
talking
is.
about,
Go ahead.
oh no, finish your thought.
You know what? I'll be completely honest. I was just gonna keep talking until somebody else said something because I was feeling dead air. Because that's how a good podcast host does things. Just so you listeners know.
Oh well, if we've hit the dead air section, we've gone through Marvel, we've gone through DC, and just thinking like, what's the other like giant franchise that's got all of its shit going on?
Harry Potter,
Star
Fantastic
Wars.
Beasts. Oh man.
No, no. We're definitely, I don't know what tangent you're off on, but Star Wars. I don't know if either of y'all have seen it. I don't know how many of our listeners have seen it, but they recently released these little shorts, 2 to 3 minutes, for free on YouTube, called Star Wars Forces of Destiny, and they're basically,
Is this
they're short. They
canon?
don't try to
Sorry.
be
Is it
anything.
canon?
Yes,
Oh,
Ooh.
I know what I'm doing later.
Yep.
yes, they
Obviously,
are
not
canon.
during the podcast because that would be unprofessional, improfessional.
Well, I told
God,
you
my
to watch them
words
before we
tonight.
started the podcast, but you were like, "No, let's get started." So that's on you. No, but
We'll watch them.
yeah, they're on Disney's YouTube. You can also find them in a playlist on the on Star Wars' actual channel. But they're just short, simple little animated like snippets in the lives of characters like Rey, Leia, Ahsoka, Padme, Jin. Just real short, real sweet, just little moments in time.
Jin,
And
really? That's cool.
huh?
Jin Urso? That's cool.
Yeah, they got Jin. Jin had one. Sabine was in one with Princess Leia. Yeah, they're real short. They don't try to be like it's not Clone Wars, obviously, or Rebels. They're not trying to be anything bigger than what they are, and some people don't like it, others do. A lot of mixed opinions, but I love them. I think they're cute. Just short, just 2 to 3 minutes of Star Wars fun.
So they're using characters that like they're tying in a few of their other animated series into this, and then it is tying into. You said Ray has some, so it's kind of like snippets and whatnot, and they're kind of like also
Like it's
segmenting off into the new
literally
cast.
Yeah, it's literally just little moments in these characters' lives. Just a short little story, little event that sort of ties into who they are. Like Rey's first two actually happen, like timeline wise during The Force Awakens, like the beginning of The Force Awakens. Like one of Leia's is during Return of the Jedi. just these little extra bits and moments in the Star Wars history and in these characters' history that, we didn't get in a movie or an episode of whatever that are just,
You
you
know,
know,
you said something there that and I commented on it right away because it struck me. They have a Jin one. I would love
mhm,
to see a spin-off Jin movie. I mean, there's so much time period where we don't know what happened with her and Sakura. I would love to see. I would love to see his formation and like her getting kicked out. Whether or not it's Felicity Jones playing her again if the age is appropriate, but she was a great character in the Star Wars universe. She's an amazing character, and I understand why she had to die. I understand why, Rogue One was her
mhm.
send off, and I get it all. But I would love to fill in the blanks, between Saw
Right.
picking her out of the hole and her being in an Imperial Stormtrooper prison camp. I would love to see it.
Just the in between of Saw finding her as a little girl, like growing up in his faction of the rebellion and all of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because in a sense, you could continue along the grittiness that was Rogue One very naturally, especially if you went straight into Jin and Saw. You know what I'm saying? You just not re, you wouldn't even need to be rebooting them. You'd just be reestablishing them. Like you would be giving Rogue One a
Another
prequel
part of the
story.
story.
Like that's all
Right.
the prequel to Rogue One. You
A
could
prequel to a
also
prequel.
Krennic was amazing too. He was an awesome villain. You could even have
Yeah.
I would even see Krennic come back. I'd love to see no Tarkin. Don't want to see CGI Tarkin. But Krennic and Vader, yes, do it.
Vader. I would love a Vader movie set like right after Revenge of the Sith, where it's just him fully becoming Vader and everything that he is, like that original iconic villain.
It would have to be a horror
I think
movie.
that yeah, it would have to be dark because I've read God, I forget what the book is called, but it's set right after Revenge of the Sith, like I think it's Rise of Lord Vader or something like that, but it's sort of like that what Vader is doing, like hunting down the remaining Jedi, and it gets pretty dark, but a movie like that would have to yeah, it would have to be dark cuz it's a fucked up time in that character's life, you know?
Hey, if you want to read a really great Vader centric book that is canon now, I recommend checking out Lords of the Sith. It is about the relationship that Vader has with Sidious and his desire and the whole struggle and balance between master and apprentice, and how it ends in death for somebody. And
Mhm.
they the essential plot of it is they are stranded on I can't remember the name of the planet, but it's with oh my goodness, what's her name in Rebels? The pilot name in Rebels. It's
Harrison Dula?
Yes, it's her father.
Hmm.
Oh,
Takes place.
Cham.
Yes, it's all. He's like the protagonist, and it's
Oh,
they
interesting.
Vader and Sidious are essentially shot down on this planet and hunted like expeditiously. You obviously know how it's gonna end, but the things that they have to do to survive and it's a it's a novel that just embraces Sithism, for lack of a better term. It's so good, and it's
Right.
canon. It's canon. There's a scene very early on where Vader uh decides to eject out of his stab through his Tie Fighter, and he force propels him into a rebel ship through a window with his lightsaber open, and he force switches the vacuum to close the window, and he just starts carving everyone in the ship. It's amazing.
Shit.
And it's before they really know who Vader is, he's still kind of like the masked man, the man in the shadows, so to speak, the whisper, the whisper on the wind kind of guy. So they really
Yeah.
it's great. It's such a good book. I recommend it to anyone.
Hmm, interesting. Yeah, I've got a lot of Star Wars reading I need to catch up on.
Yeah, I
Like
do as
so
well.
many books, so little time
But
for a lot of
unfortunately, I
things.
don't think the majority of our podcast is interested in our Star Wars book nerdism as much as we could talk about it all day long. But there's
So many good books.
one big goodie bag left in the bag, isn't it, boys and girls? Shall we
Oh
talk
yeah.
about it? Shall we break it open?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Doomfist. And for the record, we are hereby dispelling and stabbing in the leg and shooting in the head that we ever thought that COG ever endorsed the fact that it would be an albino midget, because we knew it would not be. Just so you know.
But
Right.
he does use magic, right? That's a thing? Or is it
No,
necromancy?
it's not magic. It's neither of those.
Integrity told me it was necromancy, or maybe it was Miller. I forget.
It was probably
Integrity
Dregs.
doesn't know. So
It was
he
someone.
punches things, and he punches them very hard.
puncher?
And he's got a shotgun hand, right? The other one?
Hence the name. Hence
Oh.
his name having the word fist in it.
Obey the fist.
Oh my
Um,
god.
So there, I've been waiting for this for a while, just to see what his abilities
Everyone's
would be.
been waiting
Sim-
for this for a while.
Yeah,
Don't
everybody
don't
has been.
try and- You're not special. Everybody's been
I'm
waiting
not
for
one of
fucking
those people
Doomfist.
that's running
We're
around.
like Doomfist. Who the fuck is Orisa?
I know. Who the fuck's Arisa? What?
Orisa's
No.
adorable.
I'm not one
She's
of those
honestly
people
one of
running
my
around
favorite
going, I'm gonna be a Doomfist main. Like, I'm not gonna be a Doomfist main. I'll play the character and do my very best with it, like I do with the handful of other characters that I play. I'm definitely gonna check him out. I am more excited for him than Orisa. Rip Orisa. Poor War.
Hey, Orisa is a wonderful.
You're gonna break
human
Effie's heart.
Effie,
I
yes.
know.
Effie will
That
not be
electric
happy
cow,
about
no.
this.
Oh my god.
No, the mobility on this character is going to be insane. I don't know if you guys have seen gameplay yet. I have.
I've seen him
and
hop up into the air
I
and
have.
come down and death. That's what I saw.
Meteor
Yeah.
strike. No. Speaking of talking about the mobility burns, I think they what's the charge up one with the punch where he like launches forward, sort of like Reinhardt? What's that called?
His rocket fist.
Yeah, Rocket Fist. I read that they already nerfed that from 30 meters to 20 meters, so.
Yes, yes, they did. But that's from what I can see in his gameplay, it probably needed to be happen. He was going pretty far there. They didn't nerf his damage, which is interesting because I thought everyone was complaining enough about that already. I don't think they should. I think they should leave him exactly as he is, and I hope to see him coming out next Tuesday, or tomorrow, whenever. Yeah, it would be nice to have him come out sooner rather than later, but I want him to come out not broken. So, fix the bug fixes. I've seen there was some video of him being able to get out of the map and things like that. Fix that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe
I saw that.
they will look Sombra and Ana, Sombra especially, but they both weren't really release complete. But Orisa was, and I think I'm hoping that's the standard that they stick to from here on out. And it seems like that's what they're doing.
Yeah, my only other sort of thing that I noticed just watching gameplay of it, his shotgun hand, it seemed like the ammo regenerated really fast, like a little too fast. Did either of y'all notice that, or?
I'm excited for that. Yeah.
It's like
I noticed.
it's like
May
if
have
the
noticed.
punching is supposed to be his main thing, maybe the shotgun not be quite so powerful. I don't know, logic.
Well,
Maybe it's called
okay.
Doom Fist, not Doom Shotgun Hand.
That was the first thing I thought after watching Jeff Kaplan's little developer update thing, where he's like, well, you see, we don't intend on his shotgun hand to be his primary weapon, but then, like, I think he refers to it as his primary weapon, and he also said that he wants us to, like, use his fist more, but then I go and watch, like, Siegel and all these pros use it, and it's like, they use their fists to get in, and they mess shit up, and then they, like, shoot people a couple times with their other hand, and they die, and then they get punched, and they die, and then he, like, punches some people more, and then he, like, gets out.
I have a mental image of Jeff Kaplan, and I swear to God, it's like him constantly banging his head on a desk.
reading
What the
the
hell?
forums, just smashing his head on the desk, like, why?
And then, of
Aw.
course, the other mental image is him drunk rolling around on a party devising Orisa.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I love it. I know, it's too much.
Alrighty, guys. Well, it's been fun, but I've run out of things to talk about, and frankly, you, the audience, are boring me because we've been sitting here for how long talking and you guys haven't said shit. So it's really rude.
Asshole.
We're gonna call it
God.
because you guys need to talk more. We're doing a lot of work here, and it's hard.
We're really
And
carrying this
I
conversation.
am much more drunk than I was at the beginning, so that's why you're getting the honest right now. Peace out. And by the way, you heard it here first. You heard it here last. Doomfist is not an albino midget, and we never thought he would be, and we're glad he's not. Peace out.
Wait, what?